Welcome welcome all to episode 183 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, June 24th, 2023. I am your host, Luke Lohr, the InsipidGhost, not joined by my co-host, the intrepid Captain Logan, but honored to be joined by Mr. Baron J67, Community Director for Level 1 Gaming. In this episode, we have a genuine bombshell bit of news coming out of the Activision Blizzard acquisition as the FTC versus Xbox trial has begun. Xbox has raised the price of consoles in several markets, and Xbox has confirmed that they've indeed lost the console wars. Is it all doom and gloom, or just a few weeks after this best E3 presentation ever? Is it a bit more complicated than that? As always, we hope you enjoyed the show. Baron, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who have made our gaming weeks better. But first, how are you, my friend?
You know what? I am doing pretty good. There's food in the fridge. There's a bunch of games to play. And it's I think we're looking at the new best year in gaming. It really, it's hard to even imagine what's going to be game of the year. Like it's there's games that get forgotten about. So we have so many games. So it's just awesome.
Oh yeah, we are eating pretty. This year, I think, is the best year in gaming,
Yeah.
even at this halfway mark. Because I feel like I'm eating pretty on AAA, indie, and AA nonstop. Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
Are you doing well though? Like, are things good? I don't think we've actually had you on the show. Let the people
No.
know how you are. I know I've had David on before, but this is your first time on XEP.
No, right? You need like a screenboard.
Yeah.
But no, you know what? I'm doing good. It's so great coming off of Summer Games Fest. My first time really being not my first time, but being out around the community again since that whole thing we've dealt with for the last few years. It's so dope being around people who you've always looked up to. I really appreciate like Jeff Grubb for having me on the giant bomb couch. That was such an epic moment. Like the night before, like where Phil Spencer was sitting, I sat in that same spot and was being interviewed in the same spot. Like that's like it's being in the same room. And I told them I was going to take something off the set. And I definitely did. I told Jeff Grubb on YouTube that there's no way I'm coming to the fandom building and being on this set with all these dope EGMs and all just legendary Prima guides and whatnot. I was like, I gotta take something. He was like, oh, bro, just take this. And I didn't plan to do this, but give me a second.
Yeah, let's see it. For those that don't know, Baron got to go to E3-esque thing. He sat on the giant bomb couch. He was there. Let's see it. Oh, snap.
The classic Mortal Kombat 3 1995 Electric Gaming Monthly EGM. I definitely walked away with this off the set. I know it's kind of blurred and you guys can't see it, but this is a beautiful classic, and shout out to Jeff Grubb. It's so cool. That's just so cool. being able to be recognized, being able to be, I got my Valari pillow, being able to be sitting amongst folks who, because I'm not a formal journalist, I wasn't formally trained. Shout out to Fame David. I was a random guy on Twitter who was like, hey, I've been thinking about writing. I've done YouTube videos and live streaming. He was like, well, send me a sample. So to go from a Twitter DM a couple years ago to being able to sit on the giant bomb couch during Summer Games Fest or the E3 season, meeting publishers and voice actors and the IGN crew and the giant bomb crew, and just like from a tweet to that, like, so it's a heck of a journey, but it's crazy how many people have said yes over the years and given me a chance. And those are all the people I'm grateful for, because all of this is extremely pointless if nobody says yes. Like, you always tell folks, opportunities matter. And of course you got to be ready to take those opportunities, but somebody has to offer it or somebody
Mhm.
has to agree. So
Yeah.
to all the folks who said yes, thank you so much, because obviously it's led to some pretty epic moments in what's going on. I didn't mean to go on a soap. I'm sorry.
No, go on that. So that's we're here for that, man. And now I do want to say for listeners that are either new to the show or new to you, obviously Level One Gaming, we've had David on before. I've been fortunate to be a guest on y'all's show. But for anyone that's uninitiated or uninformed, will you let them know about Level One Gaming?
Yeah, so Level One Gaming is a gaming news site where we focus on news and reviews and everything in between. And also we like to boast that we're a platform to give people an opportunity. If you want to come and build up your portfolio, hit us up. Like, we're always looking for folks to come on, and we're still working on a way to pay people. We want to pay people, but it's just not that much revenue to pay people. Like, this
Hmm.
stuff's expensive on
Yeah.
the back end.
Hmm.
And but we tell folks, just come build your resume. We've had people go over to Bungie. We've had people go over to I think we had somebody go to Bethesda as well. We've had
Dope.
people with bylines at Forbes, and like, it just pad your resume, because how else do you get into the gaming journalism? Like,
Hmm.
I use the air quotes for that because I am not a journalist. Like,
Hmm.
and I've met real journalists,
Hmm.
and I don't ever want to diminish what they do. And so for people who want to get into the game news, game writing, game coverage scene, content creating, we always try to make sure to have a platform for them to come and create. So yes, that is Level One Gaming. We have a weekly show on Wednesdays, 2XP. That's our flagship show. That's where you'll see some of our highest and most outrageous moments. We've interviewed some big folks, a couple CEOs, a couple devs,
Hmm.
voice actors, other content creators within the space. There's a lot going on at LV1 Gaming. It's a small team, and there's a lot that goes on.
Yeah. Big time. I will say to any listener that's unfamiliar, something I found with Level One is they very much have the mentality that we share. It's rising tides lift all boats. Multiple times you guys have helped me out. You and I have DM'd
Vice
regularly
versa.
about, yeah, we DM regularly about connecting with developers or getting codes to review, because gaming is expensive and it's tough to review X amount of games when so many great things are coming out. And just getting in touch with people. Really appreciate the attitude and vibe of making gaming better that you guys have at Level One. It's special. It's important.
It,
So,
it's the most serious thing, because there's enough eyes and ears for everyone.
mhm.
Especially for those on YouTube. Like, YouTube, as long as Google's here, YouTube is here, which at this point means forever. It there's enough. There's more than enough. Like, there's not a lack of eyes.
Mhm. Big time. Big time. So for that, listeners, I will tell you, go check out Level One Gaming. Go check out Baron J67, of course, the communications director for Level One Gaming. Always a big supporter of XEP as well. So we're here because of you guys and people, the way you guys do things. So thank you. Well, I would like to thank our patrons for doing all that you do to support XEP and helping us get better, because it has been on the back end the most expensive year in XEP history. That's for sure. You can support XEP by going to patreon.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. Check out exclusive episodes of Creator Talk, which most recently we had on the amazing Neo Game Spark, which was awesome. He's such a cool dude. Prior to that was Miles Dompierre. And coming up next is King David from the Iron Lords. I'm looking forward to that. Goodness knows we're going to hold the line on that one. That should be fun. So, our tier 2 and 3 shout outs for this week: Mr. Robbie Bobby Miller, Silent Cypher, Xbox Skittle, African, aka Charles Jones, Game Positive, Zach LeCoulter, Jam Pack Sam, Matt Valdez, Neo Prime 33, Rick Davis, Red Beast, Xbox Mike 29, Matt Without Fear, the Lord Sir Master James Suddy, Brendan Myers, aka the Winter Gamer, Sony's VP of Marketing, Mr. Kevin Butler, Clint Coombs, DJ Hero, and Dano12. Thank you guys for supporting XEP over on Patreon. It means the world. I've had a blast in our Discord this past week, so thank you. Baron, usually we do words of kindness, but we got all caught up. You were my words of kindness for this week. You're stepping in, helping out with Logan as he enjoys hanging out with his Sea of Thieves brethren. He's been posting pictures, having a blast. You're my words of kindness, so thank you for joining me and filling in. I appreciate you. Do you have anybody that you want to shout out this week?
Once again, Jeff Grubb, for giving some random guy off the internet a chance to grace the couch and hit the big stage. It's once again, opportunities are everything, and much love to all those people who are definitely willing to take that chance and give us opportunities. So thank you.
Agreed.
Number 3.
He's a good dude. He's a good dude.
Yeah, human. Like I was shocked at how human, because a lot of interaction is through the internet. And so when you get to meet people in person, just how human and down to earth a lot of folks are, it was refreshing.
Yeah, he's a good dude. We've been fortunate to have him on before as well. And it's nice dude, nice dude. Well, Baron, we got to talk Activision Blizzard because there's actual real news that involves actual bombshells of information that is not clickbait, set in court, things that are real and going to have impacts and ripples across the gaming industry. I did my best to break down the notes. I did a lot of homework on this one, but I did the homework as a result of some incredible journalists, and I want to specifically call out Rebecca Valentine from IGN. Reb did some incredible stuff. We had her on the show years ago, but just the amount of work that she and several other journalists have done have helped enthusiasts like me make sense of what's going on. And that has led to some actual real revelatory statements said in court. The first of which, again, I want to be very clear for listeners, not clickbait, not YouTube-y thumbnail type
These
stuff.
Are quotes.
Yeah, these are quotes. Goodness gracious. In the opening statements of the FTC versus Xbox, it was noted that Jim Ryan did indeed lie when he went on a number of different interview sites and traveled the world, going to meet different regulators and such, when he stated that he has fears of Xbox making Call of Duty exclusive and how that would be extremely detrimental to PlayStation's business. It was revealed in court documents that emails with former CEO of Sony, Chris Deering, that Ryan did not indeed believe that case. He was not worried about Xbox making Call of Duty exclusive, and that he had no fears of this due to conversations with Activision CEO Bobby Kotick, as well as Phil Spencer, and even had reassurances from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. In fact, he was just saying this in order to try and cancel the deal. A lot of statements and quotes about this. I know, I forget her, like Lulu Chang, I believe it is, from Activision, has said as much as well. But it looks like Jim Ryan was indeed lying, and that was the opening bombshell from that FTC courtroom. Pretty darn wild to think. I don't like that this is true, Baron, because the meme of Jim lying Ryan, I wanted that to be
a meme.
Games and a meme and funny.
Yeah.
Nope, it's true.
You know what? It shows how, going back to the word human, because we think when people get to a certain position, it's not that they're infallible, but it's just, we think you put on the suit of armor, and it's kind of, you stand there, you stoic, you're the head of Sony Entertainment, like you
yeah,
there's no way you would sit here and say something so outlandish formally, but
right.
yeah, like that's
this exact thing, because you would expect legal ramifications at that level.
Exactly. And what first off, I'm not, once again, only reason I'm actively into this is because this is like legit news, right? Like that's a big part of this, because I'm not a business guy, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that. I'm a consumer. I consume video games.
Right.
But what this what this really showed is that they get pretty petty at the top. There's a lot of pettiness going on, and it seemed like they were leaning in to how ignorant folks are of the gaming space.
Mhm.
Um, I I'm not, I don't know if excited is the word. I look forward because I nerd out over some stuff like when it starts getting like this and it starts trickling down to us.
Mhm.
I wonder what this is going to look like for the future of business game, like gaming and the business end. Like, does this open the door and now more folks are going to pay attention? Are we going to see like a ticker tape of like video game companies now? Are we going to start hearing about more often of like graphic cards and
Mhm.
processors and controllers? Like,
Mhm.
are we going to be watching big news and a game like segment's gonna pop up in the corner, or oh, you
Mhm.
guys keep an eye out, Activision has a new Call of Duty coming. Like it's
Mhm.
I because this is big news. It's not just news to the gaming space. This is news overall. But dude, they are being petty, and it's all gonna. I don't think they expected it to go to this point.
Mm-mm. It's been interesting to me from the outside looking in, watching the gaming journalists, actual journalists,
Mm-hmm.
kind of divest and break down this news, watching kind of your CNN, MSNBC news levels tackle this stuff. And then in between there, I think are places like The Verge, which are highly educated but focus in this kind of space, watching them break things down. And I've been using The Verge's breakdowns. Tom Warren's been doing a great job there as well. It's been interesting kind of seeing the levels of reaction. And one thing that's been very clear in watching everybody break down this news is just how unprepared the FTC seems to be. It was always the case that that well, it was always stated and noted that their case was very thin, right? And
Oh
it was
yeah,
difficult to break that down away from console war fanboys versus business console warring, right? But the
yeah.
FTC case is very thin. In short, it's like we don't want this to happen because it could happen, and we don't. It was very odd to watch the FTC kind of try to stop two American companies in order to help a Japanese company. Sony's the market leader, definitively so in
Yeah,
every
without a doubt.
metric. Nintendo is a comfortable second or first, depending upon there. Microsoft decidedly third and fourth place, depending on the market. Really interesting to watch the FTC try and stop this when it's just such a thin case, and that's been very evident in the courtroom. We saw Phil Spencer go on the stand and genuinely crush it, which was kind of
Yeah,
cool. He and Sarah Bond, who by the way is going to be the next head of Xbox and all
has to
things.
be. Has to be. It has to go that way. When Phil's done, it's definitely Sarah's spot. Like
Mhm.
it, anything short of that, I could see the internet getting a little hectic.
Yeah, big time. But they both seem to arrive extremely well prepared and handling the FTC's line of questioning very well. It was interesting to note that the judge cut off the FTC's line of questioning multiple times because it contained circular arguments or lacked kind of sustainability. Um, which for a non-lawyer person like me to know that the judge is doing that is like, oh,
I didn't
yikes.
even know they could. Like you learn something new every
That's enough.
day.
Yeah.
I
Go ahead, please.
no, what actually really threw me off was, or not threw me off. This reminds me of what was going on with the TikTok stuff. That just how I guess archaic is the word, are
Mhm,
the people who are running and representing a lot of us. I'm like,
mhm.
do you not have any cons? Like they should have had to go play video games or at least like sign into an Xbox and sign into a PSN account in order to, because how else do you comprehend and understand what's going on? How do you, unless you've played video games, you don't understand that Call of Duty has been multi-platform to the point to where it was on handhelds for the past 10 plus years. Like it's well longer than 10 years. I keep forgetting how old I am. But but what are y'all talking about? Like, why all of a sudden, like, if this company is here about making, you're talking to the one company whose products, who the parent company's products are global,
Mhm.
like, and would be on other planets if we were there. So to think that this global company wouldn't want more of their products to be global, it just sounds ridiculous. Like, at that level alone, like, if you went no further, that level alone, it just doesn't add up. So
Mhm.
once again, it's kind of embarrassing, like, because these are
Mhm.
the representatives that are people, are citizens we voted in, and they just have
Mhm.
no ties to a big part of the world. It'd be like if they didn't understand how TV worked at all, or television worked, or how movies work, because this is the largest form of entertainment. So
Mhm.
maybe it's something you should look at.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, a lot of the questions that were asked seem to have a lot to do with exclusivity and such. They brought up quotes from Matt Booty from 2019, in which he said there's no effing way that they would be putting Xbox content on competing services. But this was in response to NVIDIA putting Xbox content on their own service without permission. And the two companies have since
mm,
rectified and signed 10-year deals. Xbox has been signing 10-year deals not just to appease a courtroom setting, but because it's good for their business, because their strategy has changed and changed drastically. We found in Sarah Bond's testimony that it costs more to run xCloud than it makes. It does make revenue, but in order to do server upkeep and keep everything going well, it's actually costing them more money because that market didn't engage the way they necessarily thought it would, which is why it makes sense for them to put their content into other cloud services because that market didn't grow with the speed they thought. Uh, Very clearly, Microsoft has stated in court documents that they have lost the console wars without a doubt, and that their strategy has to change in order to adapt. Survive is the right word to use in there. But a lot of other revelations have come about, and I want to call out some of these, and then we can talk about a few of them. Lots of questions about Phil Spencer and exclusivity, a la Minecraft. Like, what's going on with Minecraft? Why was that exclusive, not exclusive? Like, what was the approach there? What did you do with ZeniMax once acquired? How did that impact franchises like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Deathloop, Ghostwire were all cited in there. Interestingly, Starfield was going to be exclusive until Xbox bought Bethesda. You can look at what was going on with Deathloop and Ghostwire and the direction that the deals that Sony was signing. They were actively signing third-party agreements with companies in order to make them skip the Xbox platform, effectively making them PlayStation console exclusives. So strong was Sony's lead in these markets as a result of many of these deals and their own first party that when Activision went to go make Call of Duty for the ninth gen Xbox Series consoles, they forced Xbox into a higher revenue share than they're getting on PlayStation. Typically, the spread is 70-30, meaning Xbox gets 30% of the profits. Uh, Activision would get 70. I hope I said that properly. The 70-30 is pretty standard across console spaces. The manufacturer gets 30%, the developer publisher gets 70%. They were able to force Xbox into an 80-20 deal because there were so few Xboxes on the market. The market was just smaller. That's good business. That's also
mhm.
douchey business. Um, so like
Just
I don't
because
want
you
to.
can doesn't mean you should. Like,
Right, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But it's good business there. However, for that showcases how weak Xbox is in the console market. That Call of Duty could have effectively skipped if Xbox didn't pay more. So Xbox had to pay more in order to keep Call of Duty. Interestingly, Microsoft thought about skipping PlayStation for Activision games and even considered making Minecraft Dungeons an Xbox exclusive at one point. This part really blows my mind a little bit. Sony held back PlayStation 5 dev kits, which put development for Minecraft behind on PlayStation 5 because Sony held back dev kits from Microsoft, who are making Minecraft multi-platform. Pretty darn fascinating in a lot of ways. Go for it. Talk to me.
So like pausing right there, it it's funny because we goes back to the petty part.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've joked about, I mean, what, I wonder if Sony is doing this and that in order to patent the idea that Xbox is this giant monster
Mm-hmm.
within the cloud space, within the gaming space, and they're going to be buying up everything. Like, I wondered and made jokes if there was stuff going on behind the scenes to kind of influence that. And for Phil Spencer to get on the stand, this isn't court, this isn't an
Under
interview,
oath.
this is under oath, this is forever in the books. To say that these type of things are happening makes you wonder how much further it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it definitely, like a lot of the things we've heard rumors of, which I can't point to a specific one, but just the things we joke about, and behind room, like the whole talk of Square Enix and games
Mm-hmm.
being kept away from Xbox, or the throwaways getting sent to Xbox but not the mainstay titles. I'm starting to believe that there seriously is a lot of handshaking
Mm-hmm.
going on to ensure this company. But let's be real. What did Sony think was gonna happen? Like, you can't keep poking one of the richest companies in the world
Mm-hmm.
and expect nothing to come of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting to see, hey, they're just throwing money at everything.
Yep.
Like,
Kept
we
messing
have it
around. Now you're finding out.
now. You're finding out. And it's funny because I like to roll things back to how that would benefit me as somebody
Mm-hmm.
who's with PlayStation Plus now that I got my PS5 finally, and then
Nice.
my Series X with my Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. I I'm excited because now I'm imagining a world where we get even more third party AAA and AA titles included in PlayStation Plus and included in Game Pass. Because
Mm-hmm.
now the idea that there's behind the scenes deals going on is now public.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are going to be a little more confident to ask for it. And people, I mean, by developers and publishers and whatnot, they're going
Mm-hmm.
to ask for the deals now. And now that it's not something we got to hide and be cloak and dagger about, maybe we'll get more of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I I'm so sorry. uh, Discord. I wish
You're
Discord
a popular man.
recognized. I wish Discord recognized Zencaster. I really do. I wish it did.
Same. It does make it frustrating.
Yeah, because it is ridiculous. Okay, sorry about that, but yeah, I really hope that this trickles down to us, and
Mm-hmm.
which I can imagine, because now they're going to be a lot more confident and comfortable asking these questions.
Mm-hmm.
So and request, maybe devs will start reaching out for it. I don't know how that end works.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard when it came to like Game Pass that devs were talking about there's specific deals for each game,
Yes.
and then there's money up front, or they'll help. And then you've heard with PlayStation, they'll fund the back end of the development, and you hear all these things. But now that it's courtroom knowledge,
Right.
people can be like, hey, I want this deal. Like, is there a way we could get this? We got enough wish list and hype. Like, can
Yep.
we throw us in your ecosystem? We'll stay for a year and a half. Like,
Did you notice how Sony was throughout the courtroom? And I don't know if this made it into the specific notes that I made, but they're in a couple of the recaps. Sony very much was saying that they were worried about Xbox denying content on PlayStation and saying, citing multiple times, like, we don't want this to happen, this to happen. All the things that they themselves are doing
their
across
whole
Call of
market.
Duty, their whole market, Square Enix. Like, I noticed a lot of what I would say lack of self-awareness in the courtroom. And it was one of those, if the people who were hosting the trial knew, and all intents and purposes, it seems like Xbox is handling themselves very well at this point in the proceedings. By next episode, we'll know what's happened.
Yes.
Because they've got it reassumes on Tuesday, and it'll be done by as early as Wednesday, and then Thursday is a as needed day. Friday we hear the results. Bottom line, it was very frustrating for me to note that PlayStation was saying, hey, we're worried about denied content while they're doing that exact thing. across platforms such as Call of Duty. And I was like, that's exactly what you guys are doing. Spider-Man on in
Oh, come
Avengers,
on.
right?
Come on.
Like you're making the Spider-Man game Insomniac, no problem. That's yours. You bought it, you paid for it, rock on. But like in Avengers, like that's a strange choice. Doing exactly what they are fearful of Xbox doing.
I I really believe, like you said, they were just leaning on the fact, and they understood clearly that as big as this space is, it's still very niche. I know that sounds weird to say gaming is niche. Console gaming is still a very niche thing, to the point to where the company who has been hiding content behind their console, taking and paying games to stay away from other platforms, is able to go and tell first. You know, that whole thing, who tells first is
Right.
who's. That's what happened. They literally was like, oh no, we're worried they're gonna keep content, they're not gonna share. I was wondering if we were gonna see anything, because I haven't dug deep into it, if we were gonna see anything about formally about them being worried about games being not up to par, um functionally. Like, remember, because that was a thing that popped up a couple months ago, that they put out, oh, we're worried they're going to give us a worse version of said game. And it's like, well, why would you worry about that? Is that something you did? Because
Meanwhile,
everything
they
you've been
held back dev kits and put Xbox under the problem of Minecraft, which would have been their exact reality. Well, the PlayStation version's not as good because you held back the dev kits.
See,
And again,
this
is news, not clickbait stuff.
Yeah, it's all coming to light, and to see that it is just as petty, if not pettier, than we initially thought, is absolute chaos. This is chaos.
Yeah.
Like,
It's something. It's something. I do want to note we saw a couple other things, like Indiana Jones is going to be Xbox exclusive. That was confirmed in court documents. Outer Worlds 2 is still up in the air. At one point, I think I may have already said this, Starfield was going to be exclusive and is no longer. And games are still decided upon on a case-by-case basis, which makes perfect sense, right? Like when you look at Fallout and Elder Scrolls, a bunch of the live service stuff, Minecraft, Call of Duty, it makes no sense for some of them to be exclusive. The numbers do not make sense to deny from such a big market share, especially when you consider that from what I'm gathering in the console space, it's a 3-to-1 Sony to
easy,
Xbox ratio.
easy.
So yeah, like
Yeah,
it's been interesting to watch this $1 trillion company very clearly not winning.
yeah.
You know?
Oh man, and it's so weird, because one thing I always joked about was, I know it's almost safe to say everybody owns a PlayStation, but I don't have that many PSN friends. But then I go on my Xbox and I got a crap ton of friends, and it just, I don't know. It was there's a bunch of reasons behind it. I've always owned all consoles as best I could, so it just, I don't know, man. This is wild. I really hope through all of this we end up benefiting as people who utilizes the services. Because for me, it's best value ever. Like, I've saved so much money, because if I had to buy all of the games that I've been playing, like, come on, especially now them being $70 for no god good given reason.
What I have taken away from this, because I mean, by the end of this, it'll be next episode, and we'll have a definitive, like, this is going to happen or it's not. I have, for the last year or so, not really had a dog in the race. I don't really care if Xbox gets Activision, because I don't need Call of Duty to be exclusive. I will say, in watching all of this, the way that I'm seeing kind of Sony's behavior, I don't want them to live in a world where they don't have competition. That is my, so now I am on the I know I'm an Xbox content creator, but like now I want Xbox to win, because I fear the business practice of any company, but one that's exercising the way that Sony is. I don't want them to not have competition. I think it's healthy when we compete. So that is kind of my takeaway from all of this. I'm like, I don't like the way y'all are doing business. It is business, not personal.
Oh yeah,
but
this is business.
I don't want them to proceed unimpeded.
I wonder, after all of this, even like, let's say the deal falls through.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see a world where Activision functions the same way it has in the past with Sony. Like, I can't. Yeah, because you just don't drag all of this on like this. You don't mess with people's money, because let's talk business.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mess with people's money and then expect to just shake hands again like no big deal.
Right.
I could see the way that things were in the past now flipping towards Xbox just out of sheer spite.
Yeah.
Similar to what we see with Square Enix and Xbox. Now, when I say similar, I'm not talking about exclusivity, because Activision at the end of the day still wants to make money, and we know there's a lot of money being spent over with PlayStation. That's not even business. That's just fact. It just is what it is.
Yep.
But I could see special deals. I could see these games ended up on Game Pass for limited times.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that even without them owning. If you know a majority of your sales are automatically with PlayStation, why not get a guaranteed bag from Xbox? And it's like, hey, just to kick you in the butt for putting us through all of this, I'm gonna let them have it on Game Pass for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then your player base has to pay, and we still win because we're probably going to get more money than we would have if we would only sold the disc or the codes, or I'm aging myself. But if you sold the copies of the game, that's probably a better phrase to say. If you only sold the copies, you probably would make more money getting that Game Pass stimulus package, what I like to call it, and then sell like normal on PlayStation.
100%. 100%. It'll be interesting to watch, as we've seen Xbox kind of in its past showcase, like deals with Capcom, deals with Atlas, deals with Ubisoft. And will those companies, knowing that Call of Duty gets an 80/20, will they come for Xbox and be like, yay, they're getting 80/20? Like, will that factor? I'll be curious. It'll be something to watch, I guess we'll say.
Yeah.
So, but I'm ready for it to be done.
Yes.
I'm ready for it all to be done. I'm glad it's actual news as opposed to conjecture. We'll see. All right, Baron, let's see. Xbox prices are going up after how many years on the market? Goodness gracious. We are seeing Microsoft follow suit to match the price with PlayStation 5 in several markets around the world, except the United States, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, and Japan, meaning the Xbox is going up in price everywhere else. Xbox Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate monthly prices are also going up. Game Pass will go from $10 a month to $11 a month, and Ultimate will be going from $15 to $17 a month. Says Carrie Perez, head of Xbox Communications, in a statement to The Verge, "We've held our prices for consoles for many years and have adjusted the prices to reflect competitive conditions in each market." End quote. Not sure I like this in any way, shape, or form. I'm not sure this is helping them. I guess they're saying if they're going to sell a console in those markets, they're going to sell a console or not. That's kind of how it seems.
Okay. I'm always against price increases, especially for companies that are making record profits. Mm-hmm. There's very little you can tell me that justifies increases in the price when you're making, and it's funny because for like most people, when you say, oh, they're making money, it's like, oh, well, they're making, $10 per whatever. It's like, no, you don't understand. They're making like hundreds of % on their products. And you're making millions, if not billions in some cases. So when you have the richest company on planet Earth, or one of the richest companies on planet Earth, telling you that they have to increase the price of something to compete, it doesn't compute. I'm sorry. Like,
it's like when I go to a store that's $1 trillion company, like, would you like to donate to charity?
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, dog.
What?
I'm at CVS trying to get medicine. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Like, what? How are you even
Mhm.
talking to me right now? Like, you guys
Mhm.
should be giving me a donation. Like, here's a
Mhm.
bonus for shopping with us.
Mhm.
And it just, so there's I was mad when the 4 for $4 at Wendy's went up. Like, it just, and it's funny because a lot of people on the internet was like, "Oh, it's just $1." It was bound to happen. I was like, it didn't have to though. Like,
Mhm.
that's the thing. It truly did not have to. Just like when
Mhm.
the price of games went to 70, it was because one company decided to do it, and then everybody else was like, "Well, we got to match the market." And like,
I'd be I'd be fine if markets dictated things if CEOs didn't get multi-million-dollar raises. Like, how much money do you need, bro? Like, if you're making $10 million, you don't need 11. Like,
what's the as somebody who's not dirty rich, I couldn't comprehend the difference between having 10 million and 11. Like, I truly,
mhm.
like, what's world changing about that? But then again, I don't like to watch people's pockets, but at the same time, I do watch my own.
Sure.
And it's really hard for me to fathom and justify and get behind one of the richest companies out there trying to convince me that this needs to happen.
Mhm.
Like, what made it different from the last year, 2 years, 5 years? You've been making record numbers. It's profitable. It's this and that. And when companies of this scale say profitable, it's not just like $1 in the over, our margin. No,
Mhm.
it's millions,
Yep.
sometimes billions.
Yep.
And so it just, I'm sorry. Like,
It's frustrating.
I know there's people out there who are like, but they need to make their money. I'm like, no, no, no. Like, I'm a consumer. I'm a consumer first. That's
Mhm.
what I am. And I am not going to happily consume this. And
And and just to be clear for listeners, the Series S not going up in price anywhere. So it's just the Series X, but I'm still offended by the subscription costs going up.
Mhm.
For sure. For
Do you
sure.
want me to give you my
And
theory about that?
I
About the
do.
Series S?
Let's
Okay,
hear it
so I said this on 2XP. Do you
from
remember
level1gaming.com.
from LV1gaming.com? But do you remember when the PS4 made the shift away from just selling PS4s?
What do you
It
mean?
it went from PS4 to PS4 and a game, and then the
Okay.
price went up, and then they stopped just selling. Remember, it almost became impossible just to go buy a PS4 like fresh out of the box.
I don't remember this, but I believe
Yes.
you.
So what we're seeing now, I think I'm jumping ahead, but you see with the new Series S with the 1 terabyte, what if we see a situation, because the price is higher on that bad boy? What if you see a situation where they just kind of slow down on production of the regular Series S? So it's not that we're increasing the price, it's just we're no longer really making them. So if you get one, cool, but the only thing you're going to be seeing from now on is the black variant with the terabyte. So we didn't raise the price of the Series S. We just kind of flooded the market with the 1 terabyte version. That's the only
Hmm.
thing you're really able to find. Because I remember that's when I jumped into the PS4 when they slowed down production of the single PS4 boxes, and they started going on sale. This is around the time of the death of Kmart. And I remember like going out and trying to get one because it was a way cheaper version. It was like $60, $70 cheaper. It was a crazy number. But now, or at least then, you could only get a PS4 that came with a game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I
Interesting.
think we're gonna see something like that.
I think, well, first of all, I like your theory. It's fascinating. I'm
Yeah,
curious to watch it, but I don't watch the console boxes as much. Like I should, because now that I have the system, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it was interesting in the ABK documentation that they believe the new console generation will begin in 2028. That's partially perhaps why they're not doing mid-gen regens, because that's
Oh,
really
but it's
close,
around the corner.
right? And we're just now getting Series SX only games.
Like
But
3 years in.
but separate from that, it was cool to see after the showcase the skyrocketing on online sales of Series S and X consoles. Now, who knows the sustainability in that? The lead of PlayStation is so far ahead.
Oh yeah.
It'll be interesting to watch, but I'm I really feel like this is well timed from a business sense for Microsoft, knowing they're not going to sacrifice the US, the EU, and such in terms of, I'm sorry, the US or Japan or certain places. But like, hey, you want our console, you want to play Starfield, you want Avowed, Clockwork, like all these games they believe are going to be hits. Notice they didn't do this before Redfall. It still hurts me. I like Redfall and it's not good, but I really like it. I have a lot of fun with it.
Hey, I play a lot of jank games. Like I play like Elix and whatnot. So like for me, it's
Find
yeah,
the fun.
Find the fun. The fun factor has to be there. But it is weird, like hearing gunshots and not knowing where they're coming from. Like I didn't realize how spoiled we were as gamers until that.
Yeah, but I maintain, like, I will consider it a privilege if I ever get to talk to the Redfall team to talk, just find out what's going on. One, they make games. Two, even update 1, noticeably, like that patch really did a lot. It's not quite ready for everybody. If you're on the fence, hold off a little bit longer.
Hold the line.
hold the line. I'm excited to talk to David, man. Subscribe to Patreon. I mean, it helps a lot, guys. All right. So Todd Oxtra, staunch supporter of the show, he wrote in over on Twitter, and he's a patron of the show. He said, is there any reason we haven't seen Xbox Game Pass Family Plan launched yet? I think the cost increase would look good as a good measure next to, he said, let me back up. He's saying it would look good if they announced the family plan next to the cost increase. It would kind of ease the burdens there. I would have thought we would have seen this kind of in this E3 window. We didn't. So I don't have a good answer for Todd. Why wouldn't they? I can't imagine it's ABK related.
Maybe it is. As silly as that sounds. Okay. Like, because you got to think that would be a dope way to increase. I know a lot of folks who would gladly, like, oh, hey, we're within the same country. Because I believe that were some of the stipulations. I don't remember exactly, but you had to be within the same country and you got up to 5 accounts. Within that would increase subscriptions ridiculously. Because I remember we joked about it on lv1gaming.com. We joked about it like, oh, well, it's 5 of us here on camera right now. Like, it would seriously just work out perfectly for all of us to just join up. And that, you would bring a lot of people into the ecosystem. And it clearly with what was going on with Starfield controllers, I see you got one behind you, I got one up here, and the games, like I bought the collector's edition immediately. We clearly can see that Game Pass doesn't stop the sale of games. As somebody who's been a Game Pass member from jump, I didn't spend a lot of money on Starfield, even though I didn't have to. Yeah,
they're like, hey, yeah, you get it in Game Pass, but if you pay $30, you can get the steal. But okay, Luke Lohr's in line. Like I could just wait. My impatient ass is like, what I need? I need 5 days early,
bro. Okay, so the thing that hurts me, it's during PAX West. Though that 5 days is literally during PAX West because PAX starts the 1st, and the game comes out the 6th, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I'm gonna be. Thank God for cloud gaming, but then it's like I'm gonna have to actually have somebody at home open my collector's edition to get to the code. Today, I'm sweating.
Yeah, I can see it. You're like, oh, and this is not related. But like, I just found the release date for Sonic Superstars, one of my most anticipated games, October 17th.
October is murdered.
Leave it alone. Stop. Stay away. November's a good month, y'all. So's December.
Do you think we're going to see any delays? Just for the show? This is okay.
Wonder is in there now too. Like,
is Mortal Kombat October?
Let me scroll down on your notes.
You do have everything.
I don't know if I put Mortal Kombat in there. I think I need to now.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat's not on that list. Okay. But no, but in October, we've got Phantom Liberties at the end of September. Then you got Motorsport, Mirage, Alan Wake, now Sonic Superstars, which I need to add in, is in there. Spider-Man 2, which isn't on this list. I need to add that in there. Mortal Kombat somewhere in there. Like,
this is nuts.
Not okay. It's not fair.
It's not. And like, poor wallets. Like I just poor wallets. I mean, just
Mhm.
think about what happened with, what was it, this month? I mean, you had
Mhm.
Street Fighter and Diablo 4,
Mhm.
two consistently online games. Like, it just.
Makes the case for Game Pass, because if you have Game Pass, you're saving money on Starfield and Motorsport,
Yep.
for sure. And
Exoprimal.
Exoprimal,
Um,
yep,
I
that's going to
wouldn't
be
be
in there.
shocked if we see Aliens Dark Descent get on Game Pass.
Definitely.
Um,
I hear it's good, though. I hear it's good.
yeah, it just.
I know. I know. Um, let's. Hey, who knows? After Friday next week, maybe Diablo. Nah, Diablo won't make it there. I'm just kidding, y'all. Come on.
I hey, I
I'm
wouldn't
telling
be
you, man, that
shocked.
game's so good. That
I
game's
wouldn't
so
be
good.
shocked. I know. I was running it last night. Like, oh Lord,
Yeah, you
finally
would have
did my
gotten these
first
notes
Nightmare
sooner,
Dungeon.
but the world boss was at 8:30 this morning. I was like, well, I got to beat the world boss again. Like,
See,
come on.
like,
Need those sweet loots.
Luke.
I know, man. I'm sorry.
No, all good, all good.
Oh man. All right, so let's get before I get you out of here, because I know you're on a time crunch. I want to read the amazing Jam Pack Sam. He played Crash Team Rumble for us and gave us a quick blurb on it. Of course, that game's out now. I was not a fan of the beta. Sam used my code for impression reviews, and he said Crash Team Rumble definitely won't be for all fans of Crash, but it's a new SKU for the franchise that brings plenty of fun party game elements to make the game fun and easy to pick up and play. The objective is simple: collect the Wumpa fruits for your team. The roster of characters and abilities adds enough variety to cater to all types of players. Defensive players have brawlers, boosters help activate relic stations to support the team, and scorers are perfect for people who are ready to focus on the sweet Wumpas. Whether it's a quick match before work or playing a couple hours in the evening, Crash Team Rumble brings a zany Crash Bandicoot action with a MOBA twist. That was Jam Pack Sam. Check out his channel; he's amazing, and a supporter of the show.
That was a solid impression. I
It's a
like
good
it.
one, right? Like he
Yeah,
did well there.
yeah, that was good.
Did you play the beta at all? Did you? No, it wasn't for me. It
Look,
was not for
man,
me.
it's Steam Next Fest right now. It's Diablo. It's
Yeah.
Street Fighter 6. It's
Oh, I played a little bit, and I haven't played enough to really talk with authority. But I've been playing the stress test for Mortal Kombat 1.
ooh.
Man, I love Street Fighter 6. I was not a Mortal Kombat guy. I like Mortal Kombat, but like
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
the two, I always skewed to the half circle
Yeah, yeah.
style of fighting versus the tap taps. Um, Mortal Kombat 1 is so good. Just the
Yeah.
stress test, I'm like, oh, this is so smooth. Like it doesn't do it like anybody that's a fighting game fan. Mortal Kombat 1, like I'm telling you right now. Ooh, good.
See, I've never been serious about fighting games outside of like arcades, like
Mhm.
going, so this is the first time that I can actually remember where I'm like trying to get better, and I'm running through the training, I'm
Mhm.
practicing my combos, I'm learning that modern controlled camis are evil incarnate and belong in Diablo 4.
Mhm.
It's I don't know what it is, if it was me feeling FOMO or me hitting a different point in my life to where the ability to pick up a game and within 30 minutes go through like 10 matches.
Mhm.
Like, I don't, because we're adults, families, and, so to be able to pick up something and really invest that time, that small amount of time while getting better. So I don't know what it's doing for me, but I usually play every day. Every day I
Nice.
usually get a couple matches in, like just to stay on it. I'm working with Chun-Li, Luke, and I tried Ken. Ken's a little much for me.
I'm struggling with Ken. I love
Yeah,
Ken, but
yeah,
it's hard. I love Street Fighter myself, but I'm not as good as I was when I had my
got it.
Street Fighter 4 stick. And like even now, like I'm getting wrecked. Now, I played with Elu from Season Gaming. When I tell you, Baron, that this man played with one eye closed, I'm pretty sure he tied an arm behind his back and was on one foot and still, and I mean like not even close, wiped
Uh,
the floor with me. He's like, oh, I use a character I'm not good with. I got beat so bad that like
oh.
all I could do was sit there. It was like it was I just kind of looked in the mirror and I just was like, oh my God, I'm not good at fighting games anymore.
I didn't. I learned a lot about myself with Street Fighter. I didn't know. I always heard I was stubborn. People tell you you're stubborn, but I sat there while they were live. Shout out to Struggle Gamers. They were live. he easily beat the floor with me like 17 times in a row. Like it was a stupid number, and I just kept loading back up. I was like, no, like I'm not. You're like, and then I almost won a round, and that was enough for me. Like I would have bragged. I would have bragged. Oh, I'm that guy. I will lose, and then that one win will be enough for me to be champion, king of the castle. Like it you can't tell me nothing. Well, I beat you.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like when we reload a boss in a game, and then when we do, I beat that game.
Yeah,
like it took me 17 tries to beat that one guy, but like,
I won. I won. You can't tell me anything. I won.
Yeah. Made that good. Oh man. All right, let's get to Edward Varnell's question and then get you out of here. Edward Varnell, an amazing supporter of the show as well. Thank you guys for writing in, tweeting in your questions over in Discord. If you're a patron, you can drop your questions in at all times. Edward writes, do you think Microsoft and Nintendo have a strong fall lineup after showing their presentations? Not saying Sony doesn't have much planned first party wise, but a lot is still up in the air with that console for the future release. I mean, Microsoft looks great with Starfield and Forza. Nintendo with the new Mario and likely content you get for Zelda. I think they look strong, but like don't slouch on Spider-Man.
Man,
second most popular character in the world, if not the most in terms of superheroes.
Yeah,
Batman and Spider-Man that bounce back and forth, and I'd say right now with DC, Spider-Man's up there. I mean, especially after Beyond the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse.
I'll say in terms of like the just regular folks out there walking into a Walmart buying a game, Spider-Man is more than enough to carry the second half of the year for Sony. Like now on our end of it, the very vocal minority, like just circle of gamers who like to yell on Twitter.
Right.
No, it's not. But the sales will trump our feelings. It really like Spider-Man is Spider-Man. Like there is no Spider-Man is a
$200 statue. Yep.
Spider-Man's a console mover. Spider-Man is a console mover. If people didn't have a PS5, they're gonna get one now. Like it's one of those type of games. So if Sony does nothing else outside of continue to push third-party games as if they're their own and push Spider-Man, they could still mess around and have like the best year.
Yep. I agree. It's just that way. Like Spider-Man is that good, and if Nintendo doesn't show their numbers, but I would be willing to bet that Spider-Man outsells Mario this year. That's a tall order because there are a lot of Switches out there, and that's older tech. People have had Switch since 2017. But Spider-Man, there's a world where that happens. I don't know.
Yeah. You know what I love? I love that Nintendo is so almost like ethereal. Like they
are.
It like I don't even, and I know it's not right, but I don't even like speaking about them within the same realm because they get to do things like release a game and then pull it away. And that's like, what was it that Mario? Yeah, that Mario something. It was a limited time release.
All-Star collection. Or
like how do you
do it? I bought it. I haven't turned my PlayStation or my Switch on in years.
But this is the company that can do that, and nobody will argue against it. They can release Pokemon and like in the worst state ever, and nobody will care.
Yeah.
It's a whole different entity. Even though a lot of people don't like that, but it is what it is. They can do whatever they want.
Yep. That's crazy. It's crazy. Well, we aimed for an hour so that we could accommodate your family gatherings, my friend. Please let people know where they can find you on the socials and where to find your content, Bear. And I'm so grateful you joined us today.
Oh, no. Thank you so much, Luke, for having me, man. This has been epic. You can find everything I create on lv1gaming.com, lv1gaming.com, youtube.com/lv1gaming20. And for me personally, it's Baron J67 anywhere I want you to find me. Steam, all these other social media places, Baron J67. But yes, thank you. This has been awesome to actually talk about ABK with like not speculation, but facts,
real information. Yeah.
Because, dude, you got to. It's been years of this.
Yeah.
At least yeah.
At least a
Uh,
year.
and it just, oh well, what do you think? And what do
Yeah.
you think? And well, maybe, but to
Yeah.
have this is what is happening in a courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Yep.
it feels good. It feels like it's coming to an end, and I'm at a point now where I'd rather them just flip a coin. Like that's where I'm at.
I would have said that until I saw the way that some of this stuff came out. Now I'm like, no. I hope
Like,
Activision and I hope it goes through.
right?
Um, but I wasn't on that petty train until this past week, where I'm seeing the lies and the deals that are being cut. I'm like, yo, that's not good for gamers. Stop that.
At all.
And they're not our friends. None of them. None of
Mm-mm.
them. I feel like I could be great friends with Sarah Bond, or Phil Spencer or whatnot. But like in their roles,
This is
they
business.
are their business. Yeah, and I think people need to remember and respect that. So. Look, if you guys enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing or clicking like, going to a platform that you don't use or use, and go and rate the show. And then really and truly, I'm so close to a couple goals over on Patreon. It would mean the world if you guys check it out over there at patreon.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. Thank you all for listening. Have an incredible rest of your week. Take care, everybody.